in. Come on in. I hope you are having a fabulous start to the day. We got some topics we got to get into, some things we got to cover. So come on in, get comfortable. As you come in, let me know you are here by stating if you are an Aries Crew member, leaving hashtag Aries Crew. Or if you are a first-time watcher, leave first-time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by and spending part of your day here. We got some things we got to get into because some stuff has been going on. We got some updates on some stories we have done before. So let's get into what we're going to be discussing on this show today. Stefon Diggs' personal chef, Mila Adams, is speaking out. So he did go to court last week, entered in a not guilty plea. We're going to get into that. And she has spoken out since then. So, of course, we got to see what she's talking about related to that case. We also have Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie. She is still missing. There's something just really odd about this case. Something just seems strange about everything that's going on. TMZ getting the letters, this Bitcoin stuff. I don't know. We're going to talk about what we know so far. So stay tuned for that because I definitely want to know what you think about that. Do you think it's kind of strange too? Just something seems off about that whole situation. We also have lead attorney. He kind of came out and cleared the air and dropped some receipts on Corey Holcomb, who's had some stuff to say about him. And I talked about this on a previous live, but I was having some technical difficulties, so I need to come on and redo that story because I couldn't get everything out because the sound kind of went out on part of that live. And then we have Kandi and Todd, an update on them. So we talked about their divorce is kind of getting contentious. It looks like Todd said, I ain't going out of here without something, and Kandi don't really want to give him anything. So we got to talk about an update we got going on in that case. And let's get in to our first one here. And let me know if you are a first-time watcher or if you are a returning Aries Crew member by leaving hashtag Aries Crew in the comments, or leave return watcher or first-time watcher in the comments here. And now we're going to get into our first story here. We are going to be talking about Savannah Guthrie. So she is an anchor on the Today Show. Looking for a picture I had of her, but I don't have that ready right now. But Savannah Guthrie has been on the Today Show for a very long time. I want to say at least 10 plus years because I'm very familiar with her and I've seen her for a very long time. And very sad that her mom ended up missing here a few weeks ago. What's really odd about this situation is kind of what makes her mom a target. Why would anybody be interested in coming after Savannah Guthrie's mom? And her mom also has a pacemaker and needs medication. And her mom has not had access to that medication, at least as far as we're aware. So, I'm just wondering if everything is going okay. Why aren't they kind of able to get a little bit more traction on this? How many people could be potentially after her? I'm just kind of shocked Savannah Guthrie's mom would even be a potential target here. So let's kind of get into what we know so far. And we got Milo on. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And we are continuing on the live here with the updates we got on the Savannah Guthrie situation with her mom. And while I am pulling that up, let me know what your thoughts on it. Do you think this is kind of odd? Do you think there's something suspicious about it? We have an update that somebody has launched a GoFundMe on her behalf to buy some info on what's going on with her. So let's get into this story. It's being reported by TMZ. The search for Nancy Guthrie is hitting new extremes. Members of the public are now crowdsourcing crypto, with one, quote, concerned citizen, end quote, launching a GoFundMe to help bring her home. The page, started by Tucson, Arizona native Sean Breeden, entitled Help Find Nancy Guthrie, says the plan is to funnel donations straight to the Guthrie family so they can buy Bitcoin, hoping it'll help pay for info about Nancy's whereabouts. Let me know your thoughts on that. That is the first time I've ever heard of crowdfunding for a potential abduction to try and pay money to get some information or get a person back. If there has been any other times, let me know, but this is definitely a first that I'm aware of. Let's see what else is on. As we reported, TMZ received an email Wednesday demanding 1 Bitcoin in exchange for the alleged kidnapper's identity. There's no small ask. A single Bitcoin is currently worth about $65,000. And says Breeden says any leftover funds could be handed over to the FBI or local police to help cover the massive cost of the ongoing investigation. So people are trying to help. It definitely tugs at the heartstrings, and Savannah Guthrie is well liked. She's not really generally in any controversy or any situations. And I think everybody can relate if you have an elderly parent that you do want them to be home and you want her to be safe. Let's see. There's some more reporting here from TMZ. Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping investigators. I botched burglary. So let's see what they're talking about here. There's a major new development in the Nancy Guthrie case. Authorities now reportedly believe her kidnapping may be stemmed from a burglary gone wrong. According to AZ Family, citing an inside source, Savannah Guthrie's mother is believed to have been abducted during a botched home invasion instead of a carefully planned abduction. So we'll see. To me, it kind of looks like they're spinning wheels. I don't think they have any real true leads, and I don't think they have any kind of clue what happened to her. It's my understanding she had dinner with her family a couple weeks ago. That she went home, they thought everything was okay, and then she didn't come to church on Sunday. So this all happened on Saturday night. So somewhere in between when she went home and time to go to church, something happened to her. She was no longer in the home, and I just don't think they have really any idea or real place to start. So they're kind of spinning their wheels. I saw there was something about the investigator or the sheriff on the case. There were some comments on that. Let's take a look at that story. But let me know what you think. Do you think that this abduction case is strange? Do you think it could be an inside thing? Do you think there might be something going on with one of the siblings, her children? All right, Nancy Guthrie case sheriff hits back at haters. So I guess he's under fire. This is an article from TMZ. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos isn't taking any crap from people criticizing how he and his investigators are handling the Nancy Guthrie case. On Sunday, Nanos was interviewed by Daily Mail reporter about the case, and at one point their convo turned to the sheriff's critics who have slammed him and his detectives for allegedly packing up and leaving the crime scene early. Bonanno stood his ground, insisting his officers thoroughly investigated Guthrie's property, and he feels confident they did their job properly before the FBI swooped in and did another sweep. The sheriff noted, quote, "My officers were there for almost 20 hours and they processed their scene, got it done, and brought in all the evidence," end quote. Nano said then the FBI came in and did their thing. So let me know what you think in the comments here on this one. We're going to be following it. Hopefully there's some positive updates and hopefully she's found safe and okay. But we'll see what unfolds, if there is anything behind this Bitcoin or sending these messages out to TMZ. The whole thing just seems very, very odd to me. So when it all is done, I'm very curious to see what is all behind all of this. And let's get into the lead attorney. So he is a fellow YouTuber on here, and he is a former divorce attorney. Said he practiced law for about 25 years. And he's gotten into a back and forth with another YouTuber, Corey Holcomb. He does a 5150 show on here. He's also a comedian. He's been in the industry for a very long time. He's done some different stuff on television, maybe some movies, but I know for sure he had some guest appearances on the show, half and half. Well, lead attorney happened to, I guess, catch the 5150 show where Corey Holcomb was talking about his situation with Christina Payne. So TMZ released a video that shows Corey Holcomb mushing, physically touching, assaulting. Something occurred where he physically touched this woman, Christina. Some say punched, some say hit. He says he mushed her in the face. Nonetheless, there was a physical contact between the two. So since this video has been released by TMZ, according to Corey Holcomb himself, he said he's been losing gigs. He's been told the optics of it doesn't look good, so people have been walking away from him. So it's affecting his money at the end of the day. And he's kind of been having a lot of back and forth with different people. And one of them has now become the lead attorney. So the lead attorney said that he had gotten authorization or permission from Corey to speak to his attorney. Corey said he never told him he could talk to his attorney, that he doesn't kind of know where he got that from, and he felt like he was lying. So lead attorney did not respond back to that immediately. He kind of didn't say too much about it and let it go. But he had, I guess, continual disrespect that was being said about him. And once he felt like his reputation as an attorney was being caught into question, he decided to drop some receipts to prove that he had authorization from Corey to speak to his attorney and that what Corey is saying about him is not true. So he had a live, and he shows on there communications that he had email exchanges with Derek. I can't remember his last name, but Derek was a guy that Corey Holcomb had on his show, the 5150 show, and said that he's his attorney. He's basically said he's saving his life, that he's been helping him out with these cases, and he's helping him with the Christina Payne case. So lead attorney said after Corey had him on the show, he reached out to him to say, hey, can you come on my show? I would like to interview you to talk about this situation. Lead attorney says that he felt like Corey was getting a raw deal with that, and to kind of make him out to be a devier based on that situation was a stretch. So it sounds like lead attorney was supportive of Corey. He's not coming from a negative place. He was trying to be helpful. So he reaches out to this attorney, which is the proper course to do. If somebody is being represented by an attorney, you're supposed to contact them if it's regarding that situation first. So he did his part. The attorney reached out, acknowledged he got the message, that I need to clear this with Corey, which lead attorney says is the proper protocol because he's a representative, legal representative of him. He can only be authorized by his client to talk to somebody else. So he follows up, says it was cleared. He can talk to him. So they have been exchanging emails to set up a date. Where we're not clear, the miscommunication may lie is, did Corey know that the interview was set up and that his attorney had told, or was being set up, and that his attorney had told lead attorney that it was cleared? Or did the attorney make that up and he never actually asked Corey for permission to speak to lead attorney? We don't know. Corey's show only comes on once a week, so he should be on Tuesday. And I'm very curious to see if he will respond to the lead attorney dropping these receipts to say one way or another, because the way it's looking like the lead attorney is validating his point that, at least according to your attorney, he said he cleared it with you. So him saying Corey said it's okay for me to speak to his attorney is true. Even if he didn't say it directly to lead attorney, giving authorization to the attorney is the same thing. Ultimately, his attorney, Derek, did not go on lead attorney's show. He said that he had a gag order that was in place, so he couldn't talk about it. Lead attorney, felt like that's kind of a questionable reason to pull out of a show because he was talking about the case on Corey's show. So I don't know if this lawyer is sketch or not, or if he's on the up and telling the truth, or if Corey is not telling the truth. But we will be watching the 5150 show. Let me know what you think, because Corey has been having beef with quite a few different people. And I don't know if he's crashing out or not, but I do feel bad for him, because if you're just kind of living in a world where you feel like everybody's attacking you and you're constantly defensive, that's going to cause you to be stressed all the time. You're just not going to be able to be living your best life. And I hope he's okay and has people around him that are giving him space to decompress, and he has some other way and other place he can put the energy, because he's had comments about O'Shea Jackson. Anton Daniels and him have gone back and forth, and when he went on his 5150 show, that went bad. They almost came to blows. Some say they were never going to fight to begin with, but they had an elevated, contentious conversation with each other that made one think they may get to that point, but they never actually got physical. But that had its situation there. And he had a little situation with Darlene Ortiz on his show, but she did end up coming back on the last 5150 episode and addressing that. So it seems like they're cool, but it's just everything that's been going on with him this year has been a little bit odd. And lead attorney dropping those receipts just did not help his case. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you watch the 5150 show? Do you think Corey's crashing out? Did you watch the lead attorney's live? Do you watch lead attorney? Let's keep that conversation going in the comments. And now we're going to roll on over to Stefon Diggs, who is another person who's probably not having the year he expected to be having. So we got to see what's going on with him because his personal chef is speaking out. Take a quick drink of water. All right, and we are back. So Stefon Diggs, let's get the photo up. So he has, there we go. So he has probably not been having the year that he expected to have with finding out that his team was going to the Super Bowl. Just had a baby with Cardi B. And then we come to find out in December, he also welcomed some other children in 2025 as well. But we've talked about that on other lives. So I'll link some other lives that we've discussed Stefon Diggs and Cardi B in. In this particular live here, it looked like this year was off to a great start. Him and Cardi B seemed really solid and stable. They just welcomed a child in November, I believe, of 2025, their son. I don't know if his name has been released, but I've heard people saying Brim, so it could potentially be the name of the baby, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the name or just a nickname that's being used. And so Cardi B had famously, she was real hype and excited, yelling, "We going to the Super Bowl," when they won the championship. Then we get to the Super Bowl, and she is asked, do you have any words of like inspiration or something to say to Stefon before the big game? And she goes, "Good luck," and kept it moving. And that's when everybody said, "Ooh, there might be trouble in paradise." So it looks like those two have unfollowed each other and they may not be together. Since they share a child together, they're always going to be in each other's life in some form or fashion. So I don't know if it's over, or if they're just, having a moment right now between each other. They're not dealing with each other. Cardi B is probably focused on her Little Miss Drama tour, which kicked off, I want to say, in Las Vegas a couple nights ago. So I've seen a few things come out about the show. Overall, good energy. Overall, everybody's got some pretty nice stuff to say about her, and she's well liked. Cardi B is very popular. I don't see that changing, whether or not this relationship with Stefon goes back, because people like her. They like the energy. They like the kind of person that she is. They like the way she just pretty much says whatever she thinks, that unfiltered, and she puts her life out there. Good, bad, or ugly, she does put it out there, and a lot of people can relate. She's got a lot of situations that other people have going on too. You're just not famous to have it out there for the whole world to talk about and dissect. But sadly, Stefon is in court for potentially having a physical situation with his former personal chef. So it looks like not only did you lose the Super Bowl and potentially lost your girl, or one of them, now you're in court, and this is the chef, Mila Adams. And she had a statement that she released because Stefon went to court on Friday of last week, and he entered a not guilty plea. So now that the Super Bowl is over, he does need to go to court about these charges. I guess they were just delaying it for the Super Bowl, and now he has to go in. And we're going to talk about his not guilty plea here, and then we're going to go into her statement. This is reporting from TMZ. Stefon Diggs appeared in court on Friday for his arraignment over the alleged assault of his personal chef, with the NFL star pleading not guilty just days after the Patriots wideout played in a Super Bowl 60. Diggs, 32, along with his lawyers, was in front of the judge in Denham District Court for about a minute, with Stefon pleading not guilty to the charge he assaulted his chef in December 2025. After the hearing, Mitchell Schuster, part of Diggs' legal team, told reporters the allegations are false. Quote, "We are confident that after the facts and evidence are reviewed in this case, he will be completely exonerated," end quote. As we previously reported, Diggs' personal chef accused him of slapping her and attempting to choke her during a dispute over pay on December 2nd, 2025. The woman says Diggs went into her unlocked bedroom following a text exchange over money she believed he owed her, and that's when things really took a turn. According to her account, Diggs became angry, slapped her across the face, and then tried to choke her using the crook of his elbow around her neck, end quote. She reported the alleged incident to the police on December 16th. While she did not provide pictures of injuries, she claimed redness on her upper neck. So the pretrial hearing is scheduled for April 1st, and he cannot have contact with the victim. And let's get into her statement here, because she did release a statement since he has gone to court, and I think this is the only time she's spoken out. I'm not familiar with her saying anything else about this case prior. And let's get into her statement. Mila Adams says, quote, "I am speaking now to address false information that has been shared publicly. I'm a professional chef with over 10 years of experience with working with public figures and in sports and in the sports industry. My reputation and integrity matter deeply to me. Claims that I engaged in settlement discussions are not true. I have never sought money nor engaged in settlement discussions to settle this matter. Statements suggesting otherwise are harmful and untrue. As a survivor of domestic violence, I take these matters extremely serious and would never make false allegations for personal gain or to damage someone's reputation. I did not seek public attention, reported this matter through the proper legal channels. This is an active criminal matter, and I will continue to respect the legal process. I will not engage in rumors, personal attacks, or respond to misinformation on social media, and I ask others to refrain from spreading false narratives. My focus is on healing my work and moving forward with integrity. I trust the legal process to address the facts, and I hope anyone following this matter will do the same," end quote. So it looks like she's saying, I'm not lying. Ultimately, a judge or jury, whichever ends up being responsible for determining who is telling the truth, will determine based on the evidence. And if it gets to that point, what people are willing to testify about what happened to determine who is guilty. Just think that this is probably a lesson about being more careful about the moves you make in your life and the way you respond to situations. And maybe this is a good time that Stefon should learn to have a business manager or a middleman who handles situations with employees so that things don't end up coming back to you like this. I don't know whether or not he did it. I'm not here to say he is guilty or not. I'll leave that for the court system. Just say you want to make sure you avoid being in any situations where things like this could potentially come up, because when you have money, you have a name, you are attached to a celebrity who has a name, who has status, who has a level of fame and supporters who are very diehard for them. You are going to have a just a higher level of eyes and intensity on you than you would have otherwise. So putting yourself in these kind of situations is just not a good look, and you got to make smarter moves. So, I mean, what a crazy start to the year for him. Hopefully the situation works out for everybody involved. And I know they said that Cardi B had come out at some point when this lawsuit had initially been announced, saying that the chef is lying and that the chef never mentioned anything to her about the situation happening. But I also couldn't see why the chef would tell you that as well, because they know you're connected to this person, so they probably wouldn't mention it, especially if they had intentions of making it a legal matter. But I hope she doesn't get swept up in this by even commenting on it or having some contact with the chef at all, because I'm sure she was just trying to do the right thing by her guy. But, it's a legal matter, and sometimes you might get swept up in things you really don't belong in because it wasn't your situation to begin with. So I just hope all around. Stefon don't have her getting into things she don't really need to be into. She's got 4 kids and a tour and a music career she's trying to keep alive and keep going. So wishing the best for everybody involved in whatever that may be. And I got Leah. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. What's your thoughts on this? What do you guys think about the situation with the chef and what's going on with Cardi B and Stefon Diggs? Let me know in the comments. And let's get into Todd Tucker and Kandi Burruss from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Kandi Burruss was a part of Escape, the girl group in the 90s, R&B group, and they had a huge success. So she had a career, she had a name long before she got into Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's also a successful music writer and producer. She's done some really big songs, Scrubs. Her and her bandmate Tiny wrote that song together. That was a huge song for TLC, and I'm sure that's a huge song for her to this day. That song is being played somewhere. She's probably gotten so much money off that. She also did Bills, Bills, Bills by Destiny's Child. So she's had some music out there that we know of that you may not have known that Kandi has written. Kandi's always been about her money. She always made that very clear on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think she's made any secrets about that. You've seen her business ventures. You've seen her always trying to make sure she's got that secured. And it probably, stems from never wanting to be in a situation where you can't take care of yourself and wanting to make sure you're always good. And part of that is just really never turning down any opportunities unless you absolutely have to make money. And I get it, especially when you have kids, you got to do what you got to do. But it looks like Todd is trying to use that against her, saying that, she's not really physically there to be able to watch the kids. And he wants to be able to have, I want to say, temporary full custody of the kids until they can get to court and get a arrangement worked out, because they're not seeing eye to eye on how that should work for the children. Kandi says he don't pay anything. He's not helping out towards anything. He's just doing all this, showing that he's taking the kids places and doing stuff with them just for social media. Like he's pretty much capping and just using that to front like he's really doing everything, but it's really her holding it down. And it's super sad when you see relationships like this resort to trying to call out each other and say these things about each other, because at one time they were truly like in love with each other, and I thought they had such a cute relationship, and they ended up having kids together. And to watch them now kind of going back and forth and at each other like this, or making these comments about each other like this, it's a little bit sad. But it's just a story that's just too common when it comes to these reality TV shows or these celebrity types of relationships. And they go bad, they play out in front of you when they're falling in love, and when they are getting a divorce or falling out of love, it's playing out in front of you as well. I just couldn't imagine having my good and bad days and my whole, relationship business played out in front of the world like this. But more kudos to them. It just could not be me. What we gonna see, because Todd said, you talking about me not paying anything, living in your guest house, allegedly being a squatter. You kicked me out of the main house. So let's get into what he's saying here. This is reporting from TMZ. Kandi Burruss' estranged husband, Todd Tucker's fighting back at her claim he's living rent-free in her guest house, saying she's the one who kicked him out of the main house without notice. TMZ has learned. I think both sides are feeding stories to TMZ. Todd filed court docs responding to Kandi's claim he was essentially squatting in her guest house at her Atlanta property. In his filing, Todd admitted he was living in the guest house, but he said it was because Kandi, quote, unilaterally removed him, end quote, from the main home by directing her family members to relocate his stuff without his consent and without court intervention. So he basically saying she got some people together and went on and made that decision for him and moved him on out. Now, they did play a clip. I saw a clip on YouTube where he was signing the prenup when they were getting married. And he said in there, so I got to leave the house in 30 days if we're not going to be together. And she's like, yeah, what other couples do you see staying together after you break up, still living together? He's like, well, what if I can't find a place in 30 days? And she's like, all right, well, you could go into the guest house. Not saying that that makes it okay, but knowing her and putting that on tape, I'm curious if she's gonna bring it up. Like, well, I said if we're not gonna be together, you're not gonna live in the main house. I mean, it makes sense. I would probably do the same. I don't know if I'd move the stuff without their consent, though. That part, I don't know about, but I would definitely say we can't be sharing in the same space. And I'm sure her guest house is probably just as nice. Is not going to be living in nothing that's not up to the same standards, just not going to be as big as the main house. But you got to kind of use your own money, Todd, maybe, and then you could upgrade. But for the time being, that may be where you got to stay. But let's get back into the story. Todd said he did not voluntarily leave the home, but did not fight Kandi about it in order to, quote, preserve peace and stability, end quote. Todd says Kandi has been in New York working on a Broadway project while he's been in Georgia caring for the kids. As TMZ first reported, Kandi slammed Todd, claiming he wasn't paying a dime in rent or bills connected to the property. She also asserts he hasn't helped with bills related to their kids, Ace and Blaze. Specifically, she says she's covered all expenses for 2 birthday parties thrown since the couple split late last year. In court docs, Todd alleged before the split they both added money into a bank account to use for expenses. He claims after the separation, Kandi told him she would stop using the account and would pay all the bills herself. So do you think that was a setup? I don't know if I believe it or not, but let's just pretend what Todd is saying is true. Do you think that was a setup by her saying that so that she could just make it seem like she was taking on all the expenses? But still, Todd could pay a bill, right? Because you'd have to know where the stuff is being paid to for the light bill and stuff. Does he not have access to pay those things too? Because he's got to know it's going to look bad on him if he can't show where he is contributing any money to those things. Because just saying, well, she's not using that account may not be sufficient enough. I don't know. Let me know. I'm not a divorce lawyer. We're just talking these things through. And then let's see what else the story has to say. Todd said Kandi now attempts to reframe and weaponize this self-created financial arrangement as evidence of financial instability or neglect, while timing and the sequence of events demonstrate otherwise. He says Kandi has been making nasty statements against him in an effort to shift the focus away from her extended and ongoing physical absence from the kids and her reliance on a third-party caregiver. I've heard this come up quite a bit of times in their story. What I'm a little bit unclear on is Kandi has probably always operated this way. I wonder if this is something new. I mean, the younger kids have not always been there throughout their relationship. There were times that they did not have them there, but since the younger kids have been born, has it been common for them to use nannies? I want to say that Kandi did mention that. I just don't understand why he's trying to make a big deal of that now, unless this whole angle is to try to get child support. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. But I just think it's odd. If it was cool before, why is it a problem now, if that is the case? And let's get back into the story. Todd says the judge should give him primary legal and physical custody on a temporary basis until a permanent parenting arrangement is put in place. As TMZ previously reported, Kandi filed for divorce in November 2025. She demanded joint custody but switched her request to sole custody after Todd requested sole custody. So it doesn't look like this fairy tale is going to end as happy as I'd like to see it end, but we're going to be following this divorce. We're going to give you updates here as they become available, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you like this couple? Did you follow them? What do you think about this divorce situation? Do you think Todd should just go out on his own and figure it out for himself and leave her with what she's got? Or do you think he should stay in the fight and try to get as much as he can? He's owed it. He was there. He has the right to it. Let me know what you think. As you come in, like the video, it's a free way to support the channel. It lets YouTube know that we are here. It puts us out in the algorithm. We really appreciate the support. We're trying to get to 2,000 followers. Thank you to everybody that has watched, engaged. Check out my communities tab. I post on there regularly. Check out my shorts. Put some stories on there as well. We'll see you guys later on tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later.